Okay, y'all. I really need y'all to go live for this. My St. Louis people, we out here in Atlanta, Georgia. One of ours have gone missing. The boyfriend won't let us in the house. We have the police out here.
October 2024. A 45-year-old nurse from Mableton, Georgia, is found buried in a shallow grave in Atlanta. Police arrest her boyfriend, Cecil McCrary. According to authorities, he confessed. But in court, his story changes. McCrary walks in wearing handcuffs and a green safety smock. The judge lists the charges: murder, concealing a body, theft, and asks if he understands them. McCrary looks straight at him. "No, I do not." The judge pushes. "What don't you understand?" His response? "It's not true." Then, later in that same hearing, the judge asks a simple question: "How are you doing today?" McCrary's answer? "Great." He said he's doing great. So here's the question. How do you go from confessing to police to denying everything in court? And how was this man free to do this in the first place?
We learned that McCrary had 3 separate arrest warrants against him. We have video of that hearing that happened within the last hour. McCrary was wearing a green safety smock, his hands cuffed, as Judge John Strauss explained the charges against him. The first warrant was for the theft of Tange Davis's car and phone. The second for concealing her body. Remember, police said he told them after killing Tange Davis, he buried her body in Atlanta. And the third warrant was for aggravated assault and murder.
Murder is a felony charge. Has to do with the making an assault against Tange Davis-Hutti with your hands, which resulted in strangulation, which resulted in the death of Mr. Tange Davis-Hutti. Do you understand that charge?
No, I do not.
Or what don't you understand about it?
It's not true.
Not true is what he said. The judge denied him bond on the charges, but since magistrate judges cannot give a bond on a murder charge, McCrary will appear before a Superior Court judge November 12th to determine if he will get a bond on the murder charge. And I will add that before the hearing even started, the judge asked McCrary if it was okay if the media recorded the hearing. McCrary said he did not want to be recorded. The judge overruled him.
Before we get too deep, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you find value in these discussions. Tange Davis-Hutti was 45 years old. She worked as a nurse at Wellstar Kennestone Hospital in Marietta. The people who knew her all said the same thing. She worked hard and put others first. Her patients, her children, her grandchildren. Tange showed up. She was dependable. Her son would later describe her as a beautiful person with a way of making people feel seen and cared for.
Just be aware of what's going on. If you got a feeling, go with it.
Cecil McCrary, 56 years old, with a criminal history that involved Tange. About a year before she went missing, he was arrested for aggravated assault and kidnapping. The victim, Tange Davis-Hutti. He was accused of assaulting her and holding her against her will. A judge ordered him to stay away. No contact. McCrary bonded out 2 months later and was awaiting trial. But despite that court order, Tange moved back in with him. She moved back into his Mableton home about a month before she disappeared. Her family had no idea. They didn't know about the arrest, the abuse, or that she was living with him again. All of this came out later. Why do people go back? It's the question that always comes up in cases like this. And the answer isn't simple. There's fear, manipulation, promises that this time will be different. We don't know what McCrary said to Tange or what made her believe she could return safely. Here's what we do know. Cobb County police had been called to his home before, multiple times. Domestic violence calls. This was a pattern. And despite the court order, despite the history, Tange moved back in. A month later, she disappeared.
Now to a developing story. Cobb County police say the boyfriend of a woman they were searching for confessed to killing her, and he's now in custody. Channel 2's Corey James is outside Cobb County Police headquarters with the family's reaction.
You're looking at 56-year-old Cecil McCrary. Cobb County police say he confessed to killing 45-year-old Tange Davis and burying her body in Atlanta. It is devastating news for loved ones who were clinging to hope that Davis will be found alive.
She was strangled. She's just a beautiful person. You know, she worked really, really hard.
Family members say they are not surprised McCrary is in custody for Davis's death.
This is not the first time that he's abused a woman.
In fact, court documents show last October McCrary was arrested and charged with aggravated assault and kidnapping Davis. He was ordered to stay away from her. However, officials say that was violated when Davis moved back into McCrary's home in Mapleton.
We never knew of the abuse. We're just finding all of this out.
Just be aware of what's going on. If you got a feeling, go with it.
Meantime, while loved ones are heartbroken over the loss, they are thankful for the community's support.
I just want the ladies, the women who have gone through abuse with him to make this case stronger. Please come forward.
And officials say Davis moved back into McCrary's home about a month ago. They also tell us that they responded to the home multiple times for domestic violence calls. Right now, McCrary is only facing a theft by taking charge. In Marietta in Cobb County, Corey James, Channel 2 Action News.
Early October 2024. Tange is living with McCrary and her family still has no idea. Then, on Thursday, October 9th, according to police, Tange lost her life inside McCrary's Mapleton home. The arrest warrants filed later described the charges: aggravated assault and murder. In court, the judge read the specific allegation.
Murder is a felony charge. Has to do with the making an assault against Tange Davis-Hutti with your hands, which resulted in strangulation, which resulted in the death of Mr. Tange Davis-Hutti. Do you understand that charge?
Tange Davis-Hutti didn't survive. According to arrest warrants, McCrary didn't stop there. He drove about 8 miles to Boulder Park Drive in Atlanta. There's a wooded area off the road, and that's where police say he buried Tange's body. Then, he took her car and left it in a grocery store parking lot near his home. The setup was meant to make it look like she had just disappeared. 2 days later, Tange's son knew something was wrong. His mother wasn't answering her phone, she wasn't at work, she wasn't home. He used OnStar to track her vehicle and found it in a grocery store parking lot near McCrary's house. Empty. No sign of Tange, just her car, abandoned. The family reported her missing immediately. Cobb County Police opened an investigation. On October 14th, police issued a missing person bulletin. Tange's photo went out on the news and across social media. Her family and friends were extremely concerned for her safety. Within hours, the case broke open. Police brought McCrary in for questioning, and according to authorities, he confessed. He told them he'd strangled Tange and told them where to find her body, Boulder Park Drive in Atlanta. Officers went to the location and found her in the wooded area, buried in a shallow grave. McCrary was arrested that same day. Murder, concealing a body, theft. Then came the courtroom moment. McCrary stood before the judge. When asked if he understood the murder charge, he said no.
With your hands, which resulted in strangulation, which resulted in the death of Mr. Tange Davis-Hutti. Do you understand that charge?
No, I do not.
Or what don't you understand about it?
It's not true.
But it was his demeanor that shocked people. Cold, unbothered. He sat in handcuffs showing barely any emotion. And when the judge asked a simple question, "How are you doing?" McCrary looked at him and said, "Great."
With breaking news, a Cobb County man accused of killing his girlfriend and burying her miles from his home will remain behind bars.
So this is what we know. In the last couple of hours, a judge presided over Cecil McCrary's bond hearing. It was his first appearance where he was formally arraigned on his charges, including murder.
McCrary is accused of killing his girlfriend, Tange Davis. Her body was found in a makeshift grave in Atlanta earlier this week.
11 Alive's Cody Alcorn live outside the Cobb County Jail in Marietta. And Cody, you sat in on McCrary's bond hearing. How would you describe his demeanor?
Honestly, pretty cold. He seemed really unbothered by all of it. He sat there in handcuffs, and the judge actually spoke to him, asking him if he understood the charges, and he seemed to understand everything except the murder charge. When the judge asked if he understood that charge, he said no, and then mumbled under his breath that it's not true. However, in these warrants, Cobb County Police allege something much different. Warrants paint a violent encounter inside this Mapleton home on Thursday, October 9th. Cobb County Police say Cecil McCrary strangled his girlfriend Tange Davis to death. He's then accused of wrapping her body in plastic and duct tape before police say he drove about 8 miles, where they say McCrary dug a grave here along Boulder Park Drive in Atlanta and buried Davis in the wood line. In an effort to cover up his crime, police say McCrary drove Davis's vehicle to this Lidl right around the corner from his home and left it. Police say 2 days later, Davis's son, using OnStar, tracked his mom's vehicle to the grocery store's parking lot. As their suspicions grew, police released this bolo poster on October 14th. Hours after it hit the news and social media, police arrested McCrary, who they say admitted to strangling Davis during a fight. And I mentioned he did seem unbothered. In fact, the judge asked him at one point how he's doing tonight, and he told the judge, great. But again, despite him saying during that quick court hearing that he did not do this, these warrants allege that he admitted to doing this horrific crime. Ron and Jennifer?
Cody, we've seen a lot of outrage in this case because, unfortunately, there's a history of domestic violence in this relationship.
That's right. In fact, domestic violence is written on this warrant, and there's a lot of outrage about this case. Many people thinking that the system here failed Tange Davis, because what we have learned is that he was out. We're talking about McCrary. He was out on pre-trial release. I mean, he was on the ballot, he was on the system to go into a trial for domestic violence charges involving this victim. Now, Cobb County Police also confirming to us that they have responded to multiple domestic violence calls involving this couple. So again, still a lot of unanswered questions in this horrific case. Live in Cobb County, Cody Alcorn, 11 Alive News.
All right, Cody, thank you.
Great, that's what he said. Facing a murder charge, he told the judge he was doing great. The audacity. People couldn't believe it. He sat there cold, unbothered, no remorse showing. And Tange's family had to sit through that. And here's what makes this even worse. McCrary was already facing charges for aggravated assault and kidnapping Tange. He was out on bond, awaiting trial. A court order said, stay away from her, but he walked free to be near her. Police had been called to his home multiple times for domestic violence. Every warning sign was there. The system let him stay out anyway. Tange paid the price.
Desperately looking for Tange Davis.
We're not going to stop looking until we know that she is okay.
Rochelle Hendricks says there's no way her stepsister, Tange Davis, would ever disappear without telling at least one person in their family. Tange talks to her adult son and her daughter-in-law daily.
She's somebody that reaches out multiple times a day, doesn't care what time it is.
Friday morning, Tange was supposed to help her son pay for her grandson's tuition at his new school. The family started to worry when they could see Tange wasn't reading their messages. They found her abandoned silver SUV, and she never showed up to work.
She was so excited about it and talked about it all week, and the last step was just for her to pay the school.
The family says Cobb County Police have a protocol to wait 48 hours before they start searching.
While we're waiting, nothing is happening. So it takes the community to come together to find your missing family member.
Relatives have been passing out flyers, talking to Tange's coworkers and friends.
And I think what really made us say, okay, something is wrong, is because she works in the medical field. And no call, no shows, we don't play that in our medical field. So for her to not show up for work, that was when we was like, okay, we gotta go.
The news stations covered it.
The Ableton woman has been charged with her murder.
Police say he confessed to the crime. Atlanta News First reporter Tracy McCrary joins us live from the Cobb County Police Department with the latest on this. Tracy.
That's right. Police tell us they arrested Tange Davis's boyfriend last night after he admitted he killed Davis and buried her body in Atlanta. Now, police initially had issued a missing person bulletin for 45-year-old Tange Davis on Tuesday, saying that her family and friends were, quote, extremely concerned for her safety. Her boyfriend, Cecil McCrary, initially told police that Davis left his home on Thursday and he hadn't seen her since. Then, last night, he admitted to killing Tange Davis and burying her body in the city of Atlanta. Cobb County Police told the Atlanta Police Department. Then they responded to the location where they discovered the remains of a female. Cobb Police also shared that they had responded to multiple domestic violence incidents involving McCrary and Davis. Now, Cobb Police released a statement that this loss is devastating and that their hearts are with Davis's family. Reporting live from Cobb County, I'm Tracy McCrary, Atlanta News First.
Boyfriend confesses to killing missing nurse. Body found after man admits to murder. The community went from hoping to grieving. Tange's cousin spoke publicly after McCrary's confession. She talked about Tange and what the family had lost. Justice. That's what they wanted. But they also had a message for other women. If McCrary had hurt you, come forward. The family knew this wasn't his first time. There was a history, and they wanted to make sure he faced consequences for everything he'd done.
I just want the ladies, the women who have gone through abuse with him to make this case stronger. Please come forward.
And the questions started pouring in. How was he out on bond? Why wasn't the court order enforced? People wanted answers. People blamed McCrary. They also blamed the system that failed to stop him. At Wellstar Kennestone Hospital, where Tange had worked, the loss hit hard. Her co-workers remembered her as someone who genuinely cared about her patients. She showed up for every shift, handled the long hours, carried the emotional weight. And now she was gone, from violence that could have been prevented. The hospital had lost one of their own, and her absence was felt every day. McCrary is facing murder, aggravated assault, concealing a body, and theft. A murder conviction alone means life in prison, and prosecutors have what they need: his alleged confession, the body recovered exactly where he told them, and years of documented violence. The case against him is solid. The legal process will take time, months, possibly years before this case goes to trial. And for Tange's family, every day of that wait is agonizing. They want justice. They want closure. But most of all, they want people to remember who Tange was and what was taken from them.
Father, we thank you for Portia, for Tange's family. We thank you for Georgia. We thank you for everybody that showed out and showed up to make sure Tange found justice. We thank you for the gathering, God. We thank you for her co-workers. We thank you for everybody in St. Louis that live in Georgia that came out. We truly appreciate that, God, and we ask in your precious name that the family receives comfort, that the family is not so overwhelmed while they're trying to handle business. We're asking that the right people step in, that the right finances come through for her son and his family.
In the weeks following Tange's death, her family and community gathered to honor her memory. There were balloon releases, vigils, moments of silence. People came together to remember a woman who had spent her life caring for others, and they made sure Tange's story was heard.
I'm Latoya. I met Tange when I first moved here to Georgia. We started at Fresenius together. I really don't have any friends, and I didn't have any friends when I moved here. Tange was the first person to befriend me, and usually it's hard for me to make friends, but she found her way towards me, and I thank God for that. We stuck together for 5 years. We worked in 2 different spots. We confided in each other a lot. We talked a lot. She came to my house for dinner, for holidays. She met my family. She was a beautiful spirit, and I thank God that he allowed her to be in my life. She was my best friend that I have here, and I will truly miss her.
Anybody else from her job? Anybody else? What's your name?
My name is Jennifer. I like to say Tange was a beautiful spirit.
Yes.
We enjoyed working with her. She was lively. She enjoyed telling stories, telling jokes. We all laughed and joked. She's going to be truly missed. And she really brought Georgia to the clinic. So we enjoyed working with her, everybody.
Thank you. Anybody else want to say anything?
You want to say anything?
It's her work family though, y'all.
Her family spoke at these gatherings. They shared memories of her laugh, her warmth, the way she made everyone feel important. But they also spoke the truth. Tange's death was preventable, and they needed people to hear that. Tange's case sparked a bigger conversation. Women living in fear while their abusers walk free. Protective orders that don't work. Police responding to the same home repeatedly with no real action taken. This isn't just a Cobb County problem. It's everywhere. Domestic violence advocates are using Tange's case to push for change. They're calling for stricter enforcement of protective orders, more serious consequences for bond violations, and mandatory intervention when police respond to repeated domestic violence calls. Tange's family has turned their grief into advocacy. They speak out about domestic violence and urge victims to tell someone what's happening. The hardest part for them is knowing Tange kept everything hidden. They don't want that silence to cost another family what it cost them. So they're asking people to pay attention, ask questions, and create space where it's safe to tell the truth. As McCrary awaits trial, Tange's family is still grieving. They're planning a permanent memorial. They're working with local officials to push for policy changes. They're fighting to make sure her death leads to real change. But they know nothing will bring her back. Tange Davis-Hutti should still be here, working at that hospital, laughing with her family, living the life she deserved. But Cecil McCrary took that from her. Now her family carries her memory forward, fighting to make sure her death creates the change that could have saved her life. Rest in peace, Tange Davis-Hutti. Your life mattered. Your story will help save others. I hope these stories help you recognize warning signs and encourage you to seek help or offer support before it's too late. I'll see you in the next episode of Crime of Passion. Thank you for watching.